Well, what you just saw was an URL shortening service, one which we use normally and one which we will develop today as part of this video. So we must have seen these websites like tinyurl.com, bit.ly, which usually generates a short link of a URL which you provide. So let us first understand what URL shortening service is and what are its advantages. URL shortening service provides a short alias for a long URL. Short links saves a lot of space when displayed, printed or tweeted. So let's say for example you have a long URL and you want to share it across on a social media or to someone from a personal chat window, then you don't want to send that long URL, right? You want a short and crisp URL to be sent. So you can make use of these services which is readily available. You might have seen also in various YouTube videos that in the description box they mention the URLs, right? And those URLs are not the normal URL. Those URLs are basically encoded shorter link which are created using one of these websites. So before jumping into the code, let us first take a look on the design consideration, right? So what are the functional requirements of our application which we are going to develop? Our service should be capable of generating the shorter and unique alias of the long URLs is the number one. Number two, when user access the generated short links, they should get redirected to the original website each and every time they access that short link. Third, generated short link should have a standard expiry time. And fourth, also our service should provide an option to users to specify their own expiry time and date of their choice, right? These are the basic functional requirements in a nutshell. Let's look into the REST APIs which we will create as part of this requirement. So we will be exposing three REST endpoints which will be generate the short link, which will be a create URL, and the parameter would be the original URL and an optional expiry date, right? The second will be deleting the existing short URL and the parameter will be that short URL. And the third will be redirecting the user to the original link by accepting the short URL, right? So these are the three endpoints which we will be exposing. Now let us see the database design. So before moving into the database design, let's first discuss which kind of database we need. Since we are anticipating storing billions of rows and we don't want any relationships like between the objects, so a better choice would be a NoSQL store like DynamoDB, Cassandra or MongoDB. But there is no point in using MySQL here because there is no as such relationship required in this application which we are developing. However, just for the scope of this video, I will be making use of in-memory H2 database because it's easy to set up and give a demo on. But you are very well free to choose any of the MySQL or the NoSQL database of your choice. Then let's go to the columns what will be required. So we will be having an unique ID to each and every record, then an original URL which user will provide, and that can be huge, that the length of the URL can be huge, so we have taken the glob data type. Then a shorter link which we will generate, our application will generate, and that will be in between the range of 0 to 255 characters, so we have taken varchar. And then we'll have two timestamps. One is the time when the record was created, the short link was generated, and the time when the short link is going to get expired. So these are the 4 or 5 fields which our database will be having. Now let us look into some basic system design and algorithm which will be used in this application, right? So our problem statement is we have to generate a shorter and a unique URL for a given original URL, right? And that URL can be of any length, right? So what we can do is we can make use of plenty of hashing algorithm which is present out there. Some of them are like MD5, SHA-256, Murmur3, then ALDER32. So whatever we think that it serves our purpose and it's always generating a unique and shorter URL, we can make use of that algorithm. So in our application, we'll be making use of a third-party library from Google, so that is Guava, and we'll be using ALDER32 or Murmur3 hash algorithm to generate that shorter link. Then now we have decided that we will be using this hashing algorithm. Then what we can do is we can look for another problem which might arise. So what can happen basically? There can be a situation where multiple users are trying to get the short link for the same URL, right? Let's say two users are coming with the same URL, let's say facebook.com, and they want to generate a shorter link of those two URLs. Our hashing algorithm can generate the duplicate shorter link, right? But that should not be the case because both the requests are coming from two different users. So we have to make our application in such a way, we have to design in such a way that even if the URL is same, we have to generate a unique URL each and every time. So what we can do is we can go ahead with a different multiple approach, right? We can make use of an increasing number sequence. Before generating hash, we can append that into the original URL and we can generate the hash. So there are multiple scenarios, there are multiple approach we can follow, and but we have to make sure that whatever approach we are following to make that URL unique each and every time, that should not cause an extra overhead, right? Like here, if we append an increasing sequence number, so that sequence number can grow large, and we need to have a better alternative than using a straight away increasing number sequence. So we will be seeing what we use in our application, right? So these are the small problems which we need to take care, so that our application should behave exactly what it was expected to behave. Whenever we develop an API or service, right, no matter how small that API or service is, our approach should always be focused towards the scalability of the application, right? So there are much more things which needs to be taken into considerations while designing a system, such as data replication, caching mechanism, load balancing, capacity estimations, what is the traffic your API is gonna get, then rate limiting. Okay, all these kind of consideration you have to do while designing a system. So now we have discussed a bit about our application. Now let's go ahead and jump into the code. So I have generated this sample Spring Boot application using Spring Initializer, and let us go into the pom.xml and see what all dependencies we have in here. So we have Spring Data JPA, we have Spring Boot Starter Web, we have also included H2 database. Then we have included this dependency known as Guava, which we will be making use for using the hashing algorithm, right? And I have also included this Apache Commons Lang3 because I love using this. They provide lots of utility functions to help you code with. So let us go ahead and just start our application and see if everything is up and running and working fine. Then we'll start with the development of the APIs. Yeah, so it has started. Let me grab the H2 database JDBC URL, and if I go here, if I put here and test connection, so yeah, it's working fine. So now let me stop it, and we'll first start with our service definition, right? We'll go ahead and create a package known as service, and we'll go ahead and create an interface which will be a URL service. Let me annotate it with service. So this will basically have 4 or 5 methods. So the first method would be public URL, return type would be URL, generate short link. Okay, and the input to this method would be a URL DTO which we will create. Then the next method would be public URL, and this will be to persist the generated URL, right? So persist short link. Okay, and this will take into account also one URL object. Okay, then the third method which we will create is URL get encoded URL. Okay, so this method would provide us a encoded URL. Okay, this the parameter would be a string URL, and the last method will be having is to delete the generated short link. So delete short link. Okay, and this will take into account one URL object. Okay, so now we have defined 4 methods. One is to generate the short link, second is to persist the short link, third is to get that short link, and the fourth one is delete the short link. So we will go ahead and create all of these. Create a class URL, and we want to put it into, let's say, model. Okay, so let me create that. Okay, then another class would be a URL DTO. This we will create also inside model. Okay, so we have created two. So one is our entity, right? The table which we want to persist into database. So this will be our URL object. So we will annotate it as entity, right? And then we want to create the fields which we have discussed in the video, right? So we have discussed that we will be having 4 fields. So the first will be our ID. Okay, the second would be our original URL, right? The third would be short link, right? The fourth would be private local date time and creation date, and the next one would be private local date time and expiration date, right? So let me annotate with ID, and this will be a generated value. Then the original URL, we are expecting it to be a long URL, right? So we will be annotating it with @lob, right? A short link will be very shorter, so we are not annotating it with any glob or lob data type. So now we will be generating the getters and setters and constructors. So we are done with our entity class. Now we will add the expected fields which we are expecting from users into this URL DTO. So what we will add is, we want a string which will be, we want a string name as original URL, or let me name it as URL for the simplicity. And the next thing which we want is, we want a string expiry date. Okay, or let me put it as expiration date. Okay, so this will be and what's say optional to the user. So mandatory field is URL, they need to provide the URL, and the expiration date is optional. So now we are done with URL DTO as well. Now the next thing which we want is, we want to provide a response to the user, right? So we want to have a class which will be providing the response to the user. So let me create a class, URL response, let's say DTO. What are the details which we need to send back to the user when the short link is generated? So we want to send the original URL and the short link of that URL and the expiry date of that URL, right? So we want to send back 3 things. So one is original URL, the second one is provided is a short link, and the third one is your expiration date, right? So these are the 3 things which we need to provide. Let me make it as local date time. Okay, so let me go ahead and create a getter setters for this and constructor for this. Okay, so now we are done with the URL response DTO, and we also need to have one class which will be like error scenario. So we will be having a URL error response DTO. So if suppose, let's say, we are unable to process a request, then in that case we will be throwing this class as a response. Okay, so URL error response DTO, right? And in here we just want 2 things. One will be your status, right? And the next one is your let's say, what is the error which we can get from this URL, right? Now let me go ahead and create our repository. So I'll create a package repository, and in here we will create our repository, let's say URL repository. Okay, and that will be an interface which will be extending from JPA repository, and this will take into a URL class comma long, right? So we want to query a short link once it is generated, right? So for that purpose, what we'll do is we will create a public, then a URL, then find by short link. Okay, and we will be passing our short link in here, okay, as part of the get API. Okay, so find by short link, so I'll make it as repository. So now we'll go ahead and create our service IMPL. So we have to implement our services, right? So what we'll do, I'll create a class, and that class will be URL service IMPL, and this will be implementing our URL service, right? So let me go ahead and start with generate URL. So what is the first thing which we want to do is, if my URL is not empty, okay, dot get URL. If my URL is not empty, then we will proceed, right? So the first thing which we need is encoded URL, right? So I'll make a method, let's say encode URL, and I'll pass in string, I'll pass in URL DTO dot get URL, right? So this method will be having that algorithm which will be converting our long URL into a short link, right? So here we will be making use of our Guava library to generate a short link. URL equals to empty. Remember, we have discussed earlier that even if you are getting the same URL request from the user, you have to generate a unique short link for that URL. Okay, so for that purpose, we will be making use of local date time, let's say time. Okay, and we will be appending this to our original URL, and then we will be hashing that URL into a short link. So we have got our time, then this encode URL equals to, okay, so we have this hashing. So see, it's coming from com.google.common.hash. So we'll be making use of hashing dot. We can make use of Alder32 or any of these methods, right? So HMAC, SHA512, MD5, Murmur3, 32, or anything which you need. So since this algorithm creates a short URL, so I'll be going ahead with Murmur3 underscore 32. You can also go ahead with Alder32 as well. So and we'll pass our URL into it. So hash string, then I'll pass my URL, but before passing I'll be concatenating it with our time, right? So time dot to string. Okay, and here we are passing comma and comma standard cassettes dot to string, right? So we have taken a local time to append into the original URL and then hashing it with the algorithm which we have mentioned here. So this should return the encoded URL back, right? So this will return our encoded URL back to this method. And in this method, now what we want to do is, we have created our short link. Now we have to persist that short link into our database, right? So for that purpose, what we'll be doing is, we will create a new URL and URL to persist, let's say, right, equals to new URL. Now the question is, what expiration date we need to set, right? So since user can provide or cannot provide also, right? So we have to have a default expiration date, right? So for that purpose, what we can do, we can basically choose, let's say for example, 2 minutes of expiry, right? From the time when it was created. Let's say we will expire that particular URL within 120 seconds. So let me just get expiration date. Let me just create a method, right, in which we will pass our URL DTO dot get expiration date, comma URL to persist dot get creation date, right? So with these two things, we will be generating our expiration date, right? So if it is present, then well and good, and if the expiry date is not being given by the user, we will be making our own expiry date. If string utils dot is blank, the expiration date is blank, which means user has not provided it, then what we can do is we can return the creation date dot plus, and we can add minutes or seconds, right? So we will add, let's say, 120 seconds to it. Okay, so we have returned back, or maybe let's say we will be adding 60 seconds. So after 1 minute it will be expired, and if the user has provided it, then what we can do is we will simply create a local date time. Okay, expiration date equals to local date dot pass, and will be expiration date to ret. Okay, and here expiration date, right, and then return expiration date to return. Okay, and this local date time. Okay, so now we have also created our expiry date for the URL which are going to be persisted, right? So now we will make use of our persist method to persist our generated short link. So URL to return equals to persist short link, and we will passing our URL to persist. Okay, so now let's go ahead and create this method. So this will be simply just saving it into a database, right? URL to ret equals to, right, we have to create our repository in here. So let me go ahead and create our URL repository, right? So this will be URL repository, and this will be AutoWired, right, and this will be add component. Okay, so we'll make use of this repository to persist our data. So will be URL repository dot save the URL. Okay, and we will return this URL to ret. So similarly we can also write our method for getting back the URL. So this will be URL to ret equals to URL repository dot find by short link, right? This is what we have created. So we will be passing in the URL, and we will be returning that particular URL object back to the method. Okay, similarly we can also write for let's say URL repository dot delete and the URL, right? So we don't have to return anything from here, we are just deleting the URL. So now we are done with our major business logic which we want to create. So here we have to return this, right? We have missed this. Okay, so we have not returned, right? So we have to return that. So if URL to ret is not equals to null, then return URL to ret, okay, or else return null. Okay, so now we are done with our service creation. Okay, so now let me create my controller. Okay, and the controller would be, let's say, URL shortening controller, right? So this will be at REST controller. So we will be making use of our service, right? So URL service, and we'll make it at AutoWired. So the first API which we want to create is, which want to expose basically, is to create URL, right? That generate API. So this will take into account, let's say, generate short link is the name of the method, and this will basically be a post request. So post mapping, and the URL, let's say, will be generate. Okay, so this will be, and it will be taking in request body URL DTO. So for this purpose we had created this URL DTO object, right? So what we'll do is URL to ret. Okay, import class URL to ret equals to user service dot generate short link, and we will be passing our URL DTO, right? So this will either return a null object or it will return a URL object with a short link created, right? So then we will apply a check. If URL to ret is not equals to null, then what we want to do, we want to create a response and we want to return back to the user. We will be making a URL response DTO, right? So URL response DTO equals to new URL response DTO, and in here we will be setting all those stuff, right? So URL response DTO dot set original URL, and that will be URL to ret dot get original URL. Then URL response DTO dot set expiration date, and that will be coming from URL to ret dot get expiration date. Okay, dot set short link, the most important part. This will be coming from dot get short link. Okay, so now we will return new response entity, and this will be of URL response DTO type. We will be passing a URL response DTO comma HTTP. Okay, right? Or if it is null, then in that case what we want to do is we want to create a URL error response, right? So URL error response DTO, right? And okay, so we'll be sending a message that there is an error processing your request, please try again after some time. Okay, and we will be returning this. So return new response entity. This will be of type URL error response DTO, URL error response DTO comma HTTP version. Okay, cool. So now we are ready with our first endpoint. So what we'll do, let me first go ahead and start the application, and let's see if till now what we have developed, it's working or not. Okay, so it has started. Let me go ahead and see if S2 database is working. Yeah, so we have our URL. So right now there is no record. Let me go ahead with the Postman. So we have our API localhost 8080 generate, and in the body we are passing our URL, which is, let's say, this one, and the expiration date we are passing. So let me just put it as original URL, right? And let me just not put the expiration date for now, and I'll invoke the API. Okay, so this would be, I guess, just the URL, and let me invoke it. Yeah, so as you can see, we have got a response with original URL, which is this one, the short link, and the expiration date. Let me go ahead with the DB and we'll see. Yeah, so it has created our URL, the short link, and let me just try again with the same endpoint multiple times, and we'll see if it is generating a unique URL every time or not, right? So as you can see, the URL is same, but the short link is being generated, but each and every time it is a unique short link, right? So the concern we had that if a user is sending the same URL request, the short link should be different and unique for each and every URL, right? So that is fulfilled. So as per our REST API, now we have to create two more endpoint. One endpoint will be for deleting the short link, and the another endpoint will be to redirecting to the user, right? So let me go to the data. Yeah, So in here I'll just create another URL. I'll just create another endpoint, public, let's say response entity. Okay, and this will be redirect to original URL, right? So for this we have to pass in a URL. So this basically will be a get mapping, right? And let's say we'll just ask for the encoded or the short link, right? Short link path variable string short link. Okay, so with the use of this short link we have to redirect the user to the original website, but before redirecting we first have to verify whether this short link exists in our database or not. If user is some randomly putting some garbage value, then it should not go ahead and try redirecting it to the original website, right? So the first thing which we need to check is, let's say I'll check if it is empty or not, right? So string utils dot is empty, right? So short link, if it is empty we have to throw a error response, right? So error response DTO URL error response DTO set error and URL. So let me just put it invalid URL, right? And we will return this. So I'll just copy it from here. Right, so this will serve the purpose. The next thing which we want to check is we want to get the hashed URL from the database, right? So URL to return equals to URL service dot get encoded URL, and the URL will be our short link, right? Okay, so if it is null, which means it does not exist in our database, then what we'll do, we will send an error response saying that this is a bad request because this URL does not exist. So I'll just say URL does not exist, or it might have expired. Okay, so these are the two conditions which we have taken care of. And then now when the URL is actually existing in our database, right? So for that case what we'll do is we have to first verify whether that URL, whether the redirect request for the short link is expired or not. If the short link is still valid and it is still not expired, then we will be redirecting the user to the original URL. And if the URL is expired, we will again throw a message saying that the URL which you are trying to access is expired, please go ahead and renew, right? Okay, so to check that, what we'll do, URL dot to read dot get expiration date. Okay, if this expiry date is before the local date time dot now the current time basically, then what we'll do, we will assume that the URL is expired, and we will say that user please go ahead and generate a new fresh URL. Okay, so we will be just saying that URL expired, please try generating a fresh one. Okay, and this will be a successful request. Okay, and if the short link is valid and it is not expired, we will be setting it to the header that we have to send a redirect to this particular URL. So get short link, right? So this will throw an exception, so I'll add it to the signature, and then we'll just say return null. Okay, let me restart the application and see if it works or not. Yeah, so it has so let me try with this URL only. So I have generated this short link. I'll go to the browser and I'll check localhost :8080/ and this is a short link, right? So let me just hit enter. It says too many redirect, and the reason is we are redirecting it to the short link only. We actually have to redirect to the original link, right? So original URL. We restart the server. Yeah, so it has restarted. Let me go back here, and we have generated this short link. I'll go to the browser, localhost colon 8080 slash this one. Okay, as you can see, this is now redirecting it to the original URL basically. So this is working. Okay, now if you again try, okay, let me just try again with the same short link. It is again redirecting me. Okay. And now one more thing I need to mention here is so this check is basically to check whether the URL has expired or not. So if the URL has expired, we are returning an error message saying that URL is expired. So what we can do here is we can actually do the cleanup. So we can call URL service dot delete short link, and we can just pass this. So this will also delete it from the database. So let me restart the server. So this is our H2. Okay, so here's our database, right? So we don't have anything right now. I'll just create one for this one. Let me create one with this one, right? And let me create one with this one. Let's say one with google.com, one with twitter.com, and we are done, right? So in our database we have 5 URLs short link created. So let me first go with the Twitter one. Okay, I'll go and I'll try to access Twitter. So localhost colon 8080, and then we have to provide our short link. So this is redirecting me to the Twitter page. Now let me just try localhost 8080 slash, and I'll add some random number. It says 400 URL does not exist, or it might have expired. Okay, then let me just try accessing it again and check whether it has expired or not. So it says 200 URL expired, please try generating a fresh one. So let me just go ahead and find this into the database, right? So we will be seeing that we will not have this entry. So as you can see, the entry for Twitter has been removed because when we invoked Twitter using the short link, it first checked whether it has expired or not. So if it was expired, it deleted the entry from database, and then it threw us a message saying that the link has expired, please regenerate the link and continue forward. So this is basically how our URL shortening service works in a nutshell. If you have liked this video, please give me a thumbs up, and do provide your valuable comments in the comment section. Till then, happy coding.